not in a shy way. Oh no.
Wow. I'm just in awe. I just told Mike Francesco coming up here, I said, man, I've been stealing money for 40 years. You watch that on TV dancing and getting paid for it? Wow. I'm just in awe in this room. My God, the Ebersols, the Barry Franks, and Neil Pilson, and all the giants in broadcasting, all the superstars, David, who just was up before me, talking about family. Mary, so creative, so innovative. My God, Billie Jean, I want to run out and get an autograph and a picture. Superstar like you here. I look and I think about all the beautiful people here that were honored today. My God, I've never, ever considered myself a broadcaster. I've always considered myself nothing but a jock who got fired in the NBA, and somebody called and gave me a microphone. You saw it today, and you witnessed real broadcasters. Jim Nantz, I know you're brilliant in what you do. You're smooth, and most of all, you're a beautiful person. I told your wife outside there a moment ago, I was so impressed about your love for family, and that you're gonna be my friend. You said you want to be a Hall of Fame dad. There is no doubt about it. You are a Hall of Fame dad, because family means everything to me. I will tell you this. People ask me all the time, how did you get into broadcasting? Well, let me share this with you. We were playing, you saw it up there, in the NCAA tournament. We were playing the #1 team in the country. I was at the University of Detroit. Michigan's phone budget was bigger than any budget I ever had. I mean, we're playing the Giants. They wouldn't put us on the schedule. We beat them my first year. I was coaching there as a young coach coming from, well, Rutgers University. And we beat them with that great Campanella Russell. And I couldn't get them back on the schedule. That's why I get so fed up when they have selection show and I hear everybody screaming. They don't play anybody, those mid-majors. Nobody gives them a chance to play anybody. So how can they get the opportunity? Well, we got that chance because we won 21 games in a row, as they said in the video. We beat Marquette in Milwaukee, my idol. I love him. I miss him so much. Al McGuire was as real and as genuine as you could ever find. But we beat them. They used to call me Dixie. And I loved them dearly. But we won that game by 1 up in Milwaukee. And then we got into the NCAA tournament. And we get in the NCAA tournament, and we look at the schedule. I called a team meeting. I said, oh my God, you guys come in my office every day bitching and moaning how you want to play Michigan. Well, you really want to play Michigan? Get to the Sweet 16 and we'll play Michigan. Well, we got there, and we played them up at Rupp Arena. My last game I ever coached. The day before, my life changed. My life changed. I walked into the arena for practice, and I look, oh my God, that's Kirk Gowdy. That's John Wooden. People know I'm a baseball lover. Kirk Gowdy, what's he doing here? And John Wooden. And the third guy came over to me, and I didn't know who he was. He said, my name is Scotty Connell. I'm here with NBC, and we've decided to televise your game. It's David and Goliath. And we're going to have that game televised, and Kirk Gowdy and John Wood are going to do the game. I'd like them to talk to you for 5 minutes. I immediately called my team over. I'm in my 30s. I called my team over. I said, fellas, the term greatness is used so often, but this is real greatness. Kirk Gowdy, all kinds of awards, award-winning in any sport he ever did. And then you think of John Wooden and his 10 national championships. Little did I know that would change my life. Because what happened, we lost the heartbreaker. We lost to Michigan in an incredible game. But I go to the NBA. I go to the NBA, and I got the Ziggy. I got fired. I got fired on November 8th, 1979. My God, it broke my heart. And my owner was the greatest guy you could ever want to work for. He used to say to me often, Dick, you're your biggest enemy. You want to win now. It's going to take 5 years. You don't have the personnel. We know that. I'd say, but I can't beat Dr. J in Philadelphia. I could coach till I'm blue in the face. I can't beat Kareem and the Lakers. We need players now. I can't wait 5 years. Are you kidding me? Well, my wife used to say to me, she said, you can't talk to your owner like that. You talk to your owner like that, you're going to get fired. I should have listened to her. My secretary calls me up. She calls me up on November. Well, the day I got fired, she calls me up. She says, you got a shoot-around today. You're playing the Sixers. But before you come to the shoot-around, Mr. Davidson wants to come to your house. And my wife, again, with her great wisdom, she says, get ready. You're getting fired. She said, and I'm going to go around the block when he comes with the limousine and his people, and I'll come back, but I'm telling you. I said, he can't fire me. 12 games in the season. We're bringing crowds out. We got excitement. Come on now. You can't. He walked in. He's a very low-key guy. He said, I hate to do what I'm doing. I said, what do you plan on doing? He said, I just made a coaching change. Coaching change? What does that mean? Well, I guess it means you got fired. Well, I got fired. I cried like a baby. I was a boy, a ball, a dream. I was in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Think about this in a career. 1970, I'm teaching the 6th grade, coaching in high school. I didn't know anybody, but we won 2 back-to-back state championships. And my assistant coach is here today, so knowledgeable, Bobby Stolaws. And we won those 2 state championships, and I got an offer to go to Rutgers. And my buddies in the back of the room, Steve Anderson, who I love dearly, was my boss for years. Steve played at high school, and I went to recruit Steve. And he decided to go to Holy Cross, but I looked him in the eye, and he'll tell you that. I said, Steve, you're going to Holy Cross, but you know what, Steve? I'm going to get somebody better than you. I'm going to get this kid from Thomas Jefferson by the name of Phil Sellers. He looked at me, you're wacky. And the same thing my bosses at Rutgers told me when they gave me the names of my recruits. They meet guys look like Francesa, they look like Costas. I said, who the hell are we going to beat? We can't beat anybody. I said, I want to beat Kentucky and North Carolina. And I said, the problem is with Rutgers, if you think you're mediocre, you're going to be mediocre. Well, I'm not here to be mediocre. And we went out and got Phil Sellers and Mike Dabney. And as you know, that team went ultimately to the Final Four. But one night, got fired on November 8th. About 8 days later, my phone rings. He said, Dick, you're not going to remember me, but my name is Scotty Connell. I just been named the head of all the remotes at a new network called ESPN. And I want you to do our very first game. Because when I left the arena that night, when you lost that heartbreaker, he said, Coach Wooden and Kirk Gowdy said, man, I'm in my 30s at the time, said, we love that guy's energy and his passion. Scotty, you should think about him for TV. I wrote your name down, and I would like you to do that game. I said, I'm not interested, man. And I said, first of all, what network? He said, ESPN. I said, sounds like a disease. What the hell is ESPN? Never heard of ESPN. Lucky for me, that about 8 days later, he called back. And my wife was so tired of me moaning and groaning, and I have to tell them, hon, as I told when I got inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, I was so depressed, I was watching Luke and Laura on General Hospital. That's how desperate I was. And my wife says, come on, don't feel so sorry. You're not the first guy to get fired. You won't be the last. You know, it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot about people. You learn about people, you learn about love, you learn about people who become associates. But really, as my wife used to say, they're not friends, they're associates. They don't return phone calls. You're nobody, you'd be zero. And you feel this small. And that's how small I felt. And I went to do Ellen Beckwith's in a house here. I used to get my games from Ellen in a trailer. Now you go to ESPN, it's a college campus. And to be a little spoke in that big wheel they've become, I can't tell you all the people at ESPN, how much I love you and how proud I am to be associated with those 4 letters. Because all my life, all I've ever been is a guy that's loved the game. Tonight is about thank yous. I'm going to thank my family. I mentioned my wife. Stan, hon, Stan. My beautiful wife. My God. And I hope you don't take this the wrong way. ESPN, ready for this? Threw a party before this event for me upstairs. All the President Jimmy Pitaro, George Bodenheimer, and all Chris LaPlaca, Josh Krulowitz, all the producers that were there, guys I worked with, like unbelievable. I think about John Wildhack, who you saw, all great guys, Steve Anderson. I see Freddie Godelli here, who's doing an amazing job with NBC, Drew Esikoff, who I worked with, all these people, Terry Linger, and I said upstairs, and I'll say it here. I said, my God, to the people upstairs, you should have seen my wife when I met her over 50 years ago, man. When she walked in the room, the eyes went well. I said, if Bo Derek was a 10, she was a 15. But that's only a wife could do. She grabs me, Mary Carrillo, and she says to me, are you saying I'm ugly now and I was good looking then? I said, I'm not saying at all. You're still as gorgeous, and you know what? You're the Hall of Famer of my family, man. Ain't no doubt about it. My wife, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that my two daughters, Terry and Sherry, who just look like their mom, act like their mom, don't look like their father, and they're bright like their mom, because I couldn't even spell Notre Dame, and they're double domers. And in fact, we got 7 degrees in my family from Notre Dame, including Dick Ebersold's son went there as well. I got 8 if you count me, because I got an honorary degree. And when I got the honorary degree, my daughters come up to me at a big event. They don't give many of those out, and I was really just thrilled to get it. I get this honorary degree, and my daughter comes, Dad, do you know what? The value of our degree has just went down big time with you getting that degree. I mean, brought me down to reality. But I want to say my family means everything. And my second family, ESPN. George Bodenheim, I love you, buddy. Love you. He's been so good to me. George, as many of you know, George, I told him upstairs, gave me the best compliment I've ever received in my life. He introduced me at the Sports Writers Broadcasters Hall of Fame when I was inducted, along with a great writer, Mitch Albom. And we all know Mitch is terrific. George introduced me. And when he made this comment, I hit my wife and my beautiful agent here, Susan Lipton, and Sandy, you've been getting, man, Sandy, you must be taking in some cash. You got Costas, you got Nance, you got Carrillo, you got Vitale. I know one thing, baby, your cash register is going ding-a-ling-ding. Well, you see, so George told the crowd, and I'll set the tone for George, George was my driver in 1981. He would pick me up when I'd come to Bristol, and he would work in the mailroom. And George would always say to me, Dick, my girlfriend's getting so upset, man. Well, I got this degree from Denison, and I want to get into finance, and I want to get into marketing, and all I'm doing is working in the mailroom. And there was something about him. I would always say, George, forget about that girlfriend. You could have many more girlfriends. But I'm going to tell you this, George. You are going to make it. You have something by your handshake, your eye contact, the unbelievable information you share. You're going to make it. Well, little did I know, one day I'm over in the airport in '96 in Atlanta, and the plane is delayed. And I've told this story, but many of you haven't heard it, but ESPN people have heard it. But it's a true story. I opened up the paper in a delay, I got nothing to do. I opened up the paper, USA headline, George Bodenheim named president of ESPN. I said, holy shit, that's my driver. That's George Bodenheim, my driver. I called his office up. I told his secretary, I don't want to speak to George. I want his voicemail. I get on. I'm going nowhere with my life. All I do is work the mailroom. I drive you around. I said, George, 25 years, I don't want a wristwatch, George. I want a new contract, George. George, you've been so good to me, buddy. You've given me contract after contract, and now we got a paisan. Who said all Italians in construction business? Francesa, Vitale, Cordelli, and now our new president, Potaro. Hey, baby, we're not all in construction business. But I got my buddy in the back, Dan Schulman. You know what? I saw history here today, Mr. Ebersol. I saw history today, Barry Frank. I saw history, Sandy Montag, Neil Pilson, Bob Costas, who I whispered to my wife when he got up and spoke. I said, this guy's as smooth as can be. I've never seen him make a mistake in his life. I saw him make a mistake tonight. I can't believe it. Bob Costas, oh my God. But Dan Schulman, I love you, Dan. Dan will tell people, we did a game recently, Michigan and North Carolina. And some people come up and say, when are you going to act your age, man? I'm 79 years old. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be the first to stand here. You take it to the bank at 100 years of age and do a game. Yes, sir. I will tell you that. And I go from Ellen Beckwith begging for games. I go to Dave Seisler now. David, make sure you give me the game that I want there with Schumann at Carolina. Make sure you give it to me, buddy. I want that game. But anyway, I'll close with this. It's been a long night, and I'll close with this. What hit me so much, Jim, with your speech about your dad and about what you're doing in the battle against Alzheimer's, there is nothing. You saw the video. There is nothing that means more to me, and anybody at ESPN will tell you such, is my unbelievable love of wanting to help kids battle cancer. I was asked tonight by several people, how did that start? It started one day when there was a knock on my door. A neighbor of mine knocked on the door and said, Mr. Vitale, we know you know a lot of people in sports. Could you help a girl neighbor of yours, Peyton, 6 years old, has come down with cancer, very serious cancer. I said, gee whiz, I just ran a big event. We had an event at my house, and we had our first to try and give an introduction to the V Foundation in our area. I said, I just brought all my buddies here. We raised a couple $100,000. I said, I'm sorry. I really wish I could help you. The next day, knock on the door, and she brings the little girl. I looked in the eyes of this little blonde, beautiful girl, and having 5 grandkids, and they were young at the age, that time, this is about 11, 12 years ago, I said, oh my God. I went to bed that night with my wife, and I said, hon, I got to do something. I got to do something. And what we did, we had our first gala, a Dick Vitale gala. I went to that little girl's funeral. We watched that little girl, Peyton. I know her family was with her dad and mom last night. They will never, ever get over the pain they suffered. The father, he couldn't work. He was going from one hospital to the other, begging and pleading for somebody to help. When he was told, he said, Dick, my life changed. She had pain in her knee. Who thinks about cancer with pain in the knee? That pain in the knee, they went to the doctor, did an MRI, and it said my life changed when he walked in. And he said, oh my God. As he spoke to the radiologist, he said, oh my God, I got the worst news in the world. Please sit down. He said, Holly, beautiful, young, in their 30s, living the American dream, beautiful home, nice job, 3 beautiful kids. And all of a sudden, he sat there and the doctor said, your daughter is complaining with pain in her knee because she has a tumor the size of a grapefruit, and it's on her spine. And it's going to metastasize. It's going to spread. There's nothing we could do except pray for a miracle. And he went from Duke's Hospital, he went to All Children's, he went to Sloan Kettering, he went to Mayo, he went all over. And we watched my wife and I had a beautiful little girl. She ultimately became paralyzed, she ultimately became blind, and then she passed. And we went to the funeral. We cried our eyes out, my daughters, my wife and I, watching this beautiful mom and dad talking about their sweetheart. It's not a game, man. It's life. It's not the flu. I walked in, I was so emotional after the funeral. I ran to the parents. I said, look, we can't save your child, but we could save other kids through her. I promise you in 6 months, I will raise $1 million in our name. We went to the car. My wife said to me, do you realize what you just said? The next day I called my buddies together, and I never liked the word can't. Can't's never been part of my vocabulary. My buddy said, you can't charge $1,000 a person? I said, why not? Why not? We can't get 80 corporate sponsors to buy tables, 10,000 a table? I said, the first guy I'm going to call up to tell me we want to honor him is Mike Krzyzewski. I called Mike. I said, Mike, I need you, buddy. Ritz-Carlton, Sarasota in May. I want to have a gala. Mike said, no problem. Since then, we've had Saban, we've had Izzo, Dungy's. Every event we do 2 or 3 stars. We had Bobby Knight, Pat Summitt one year. This year we got Dabo Sweeney, Chris Fowler, Avery Johnson, Lee Corso, Holly Rowe. It'll be sold out. We need money. There's only 4 cents out of all the dollars raised for cancer research goes to kids. That is criminal, criminal. So that's how I got involved. And we have now raised $25.3 million with the gala for research. But it's not enough. It's not enough. I close by telling you this. I mentioned the word can't. I heard David talk about his mom and his dad, his beautiful mom that's here. My mother and father were my greatest inspiration. They were uneducated. My mother and father, man, were 5th grade educated. But they had a doctorate of love. And I told my brother who's here, as you talk, Jim, about being a Hall of Fame dad, this room is filled with Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers' moms, grandparents, Hall of Fame dads. My brother's a Hall of Fame dad. He's a Hall of Fame grandfather. My sister's a Hall of Famer as a mom. They're Hall of Famers in their own world. But you see, my mom taught me to never, I would hear it like twice, I would hear this every day in my house. Don't ever believe in can't, Richie. I lost my eye as a kid. I thought that was the end of the world. And then I got fired. I thought that was the end of the world. But I never believed in can't. I had my dreams and my goals and my desire. And then I would hear every day at my dinner table, Richie, be good to people and people to be good to you. I'm in 14 Hall of Fames. I cannot run. I cannot jump. I cannot shoot. I got a body by Linguini, and I'm in 14 Hall of Fames because all my life I've had passion and pride, energy and enthusiasm, and an excitement for life. And I can't tell you how much I love those people from ESPN. What they have done for me in my life is unreal. They've taken me for a journey from when I was so depressed. When I got my first game, it was like going out of the house for the first time. And it's taken me from that journey to standing here with all these giants who I idolize and think the world of. And I look at you and I see with greatness looking at those videos. And to be part of this is just simply awesome. If I were on TV right now and I was at the end of a game, I would simply say, this group of people gathered today, they're awesome, baby, with a capital A. And they're like the 3S man. They are super, scintillating, sensational. And they're flat-out PTPers, prime-time performers, solid gold. God bless. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.